We finally got it, man. We got some actual Broncos news to dissect from Sean Payton, the reporters out at the Broncos practice facility. We saw some footage. We finally have it. Broncos news. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown, presented by Prize Picks. Hanging out with your guy, Moose. Thanks for joining me today. I miss these days, man. I'll be the first one to say it. I bet you feel the same way that I do. I cannot wait for Broncos football. I need it back more than anything. I always say halfway through the NFL season, I'm always like, man, I could use a couple of days off. And then June comes, and I'm like, please give me a game. Give me a practice to talk about. So I'm not going to take this for granted whatsoever. And that's why you subscribe. If you want more news, and before we get into all of the boatload of news coming up, and trust me, there was a lot. I couldn't even fit it into one entire episode. You got to hit that sub button for more videos. We're going to be bringing them out to you for the rest of the week and then some. So do yourself a favor. Subscribe now. Help us get over 60,100 on today's episode. First thing that I noticed, look how good the practice field looks. Oh, it looks heavenly. Nice and refurbished. It's a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. Wonderful day for some Broncos football. Let's also start with this. Chris Thomason came out and said that the Broncos, for the second year in a row, had full 100% participation, meaning nobody held out. Sean Payton counts all 3 days as kind of 100%. So if you showed up on Tuesday and then didn't show up on Wednesday or Thursday, that still counts as 100% because you showed up on one of those days. Does that make sense? So he does 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. If you showed up for one of those days, you count as an attendee. And the Broncos had 100% attendance in this OTA period, although some players were missing from today's practice specifically. But one of them wasn't Jaylen Waddle because he was there. And by all accounts, he's had a couple of awesome practices. Everybody unanimously agrees. The media members, Sean Payton, the players, they all say the same thing. He's so good. Like, he is going to be this team's wide receiver one, and it won't even be close. That's no shade at Courtland Sutton. But Jaylen Waddle is a different breed, man. He is unbelievable. Now, Sean Payton was asked primarily about the vision for Jaylen Waddle. And here's what Payton had to say. It's crystal clear what they're going to do. They're going to align him all over the offense, meaning they're going to line him out wide. They're going to line him in the slot. Hell, he might even line up in the backfield sometimes. They're going to put him in motion. They're going to do everything with Jaylen Waddle. So I went back and I found all of the 2025 snaps. He primarily takes his snaps out wide, 592 of them last year out wide with only 128 in the slot. I don't expect these numbers to change too much. You might see a little bit of aggression here, a little bit of an increase here, but for the most part, Jaylen Waddle is going to be your primary boundary receiver, and he is going to be your middle of the field stretcher as well. And that's a great thing because last year was, in my opinion, a down year for him. And look at his numbers. 64 grabs, 910 yards, 6 touchdowns, 14.2 per pop. I like the 14.2 number. I'd like to see that reception number over 75, and I'd like to see that yards over 1,100. But everything else, I'm cool with. The game just opens up more with a player of Waddle's caliber. There's not much you can quantify with it. It's not something that you can really measure. When you have great players, they just open up the rest of your team's dynamic possibilities. So where Courtland Sutton was your number one wide receiver, you now have Jaylen Waddle, and I'm not saying he's a number two because Sean even said it himself. That doesn't exist in this offense. But if you can consider that there are two primary threats, and Courtland Sutton now draws the second best cornerback on the team, now we're looking at something that can actually be like, whoa, it's scary to watch. Now, I've got more updates. Trust me, there's a lot more. Stick around. Jahdae Barron coming up here in a second. A little bit of Riley Moss talk. And then, of course, some quarterback discussions as well. Before that, though, I do have to remind you guys, today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. The NBA Finals started up last night. I played, didn't win, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So if you want to win real cash while watching sports, whether that's basketball, golf, football's right around the corner, hockey, doesn't matter. Could be tennis for all I care. Just download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, code HMA. More on that here in a little bit. People ask me all the time, Moose, how do I play? That's very easy to play. You just pick a player, the more or the less on their stat projections, and you watch your money multiply. But here's the great thing. One of their brand new features is called the Team Picks feature. So if you're like, I'm not as confident with individual player picks, you can actually just pick the team, the more or less on whatever category, and then boom, lock that in as well. All you've got to do is download the Prize Picks app today. And like I said before, use code HMA to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, code HMA to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. So first things first, as we shift over to the cornerback situation, Riley Moss apparently had a really good play against Jaylen Waddle. Jarrett Stidham was playing quarterback. Obviously, Bo's not practicing right this moment, but he will be very shortly. More on that later. But apparently, Riley Moss had a really, really good play, so it was a great play from number 21. But interestingly enough, Sean Payton made it a point when he was asked about Jahdae Barron to say this. He's going to be working at outside cornerback. And then this from Sean Payton directly. He can compete at outside cornerback. Now, you can look at this one of two ways. You can look at this as he's just making a blanket statement like, yes, as a player, he can compete at that position. Or you could look at it as like he's going to compete for that job. Either way, I would not be surprised if they're trying to flip Jahdae to an outside corner. It doesn't surprise me at all. He's done it before at Texas, right? Last year, he played primarily in the nickel, but we also saw what Jaquan McMillan was able to do last year. It was the best season of his career. The numbers aren't even comparable. I know Jahdae Barron was a rookie at that time, but Jaquan McMillan was just unbelievable last year. I mean, you got 56 tackles to 35, 9 PBUs, 2 INTs. The coverage grade was sensational. Now, Jaquan McMillan did let up more receptions, but that's also because he played more. He had more snaps than Jahdae Barron did. Now, interestingly enough, I started to keep doing my homework with it and was still looking around, and I found this little excerpt from Luka Evans. The Broncos split up their cornerbacks immediately today. So when they were going off to do their individual drills and their team drills, they split their corners from inside and outside. Jahdae didn't even hesitate. He went immediately to the outside cornerback position. That tells me they're flipping him, or at least trying to flip him. I still think he could play that nickel, right? They're still going to give him some packages in the nickel, but they might be giving him a chance to compete with Riley, especially because Riley's going into a contract year. Who wins that battle? I don't know. I'm assuming right now it's Riley's job to lose, but if they're going to flip him outside, you have to believe that Jahdae's going for that CB2 spot. At least that's on his mind, because it's clear to me that McMillan locked up the nickel, right? And by the way, tough picture. Love that photo. I also don't know why we got rid of the blueberries. I like the blueberries. Those were nice. Anyway, I digress. Jaquan McMillan easily earned his starting job, and I don't think it's even a competition anymore. It's just Jaquan McMillan's position. Unless he gets injured, then Jahdae would slide back in that position. But again, I'm not there. I'm not running practice. I don't know. That's just what I'm guessing. So my question to you is, who should the Broncos start at outside cornerback? You let me know down in the comment section down below. Flip over to some quarterback news to end today's episode. Now, remember, this is not the only thing from OTAs. These three little points that I'm talking about, there's plenty more to bring up. We got to talk about Talanoa Hufanga on a future episode, Jonah Ellis, all that coming up in the future days. But Sam Ehlinger apparently has been balling out. What does that sound familiar like? Last year when Jarrett Stidham was balling out. Now, Ehlinger definitely showcased it today, considering Sean Payton said that the command that Ehlinger has shown is significantly better than it was last year. And then my boy Chris, shout out to Chris, man, just laying it out on the line. The battle for the Broncos backup quarterback job, if we were just talking about today, Sam Ehlinger played or outplayed Jarrett Stidham. I love this kind of tweet. It's clear, it's concise, it's perfect wording. Stiddy's losing his grip on that QB2 spot. Remember, we saw what happened in the AFC Championship game. Tough spot to be in for a backup quarterback. I get it. I'm not blaming Jarrett Stidham for being in that position, but he also made a couple of key mistakes that the Broncos could not afford. And if I'm looking at the Broncos' backup quarterback job, it's wide open. The backup quarterback job is wide open. Ehlinger could easily win this QB2 spot. And his career numbers in the regular season when he's only started 3 games, 63.5% completion percentage, 191 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 3 INTs. Not good by any means, but remember, we're not talking about a starting caliber player. Can you deliver in the bigger moments? Last year, Stiddy did not. And it's clear that Ehlinger is not only commanding the offense a little bit better, but he's playing better, at least in OTAs, than Stidham has. So I just look at this like, game on, bro. Iron sharpens iron. And with Davis Webb now calling plays, who knows what happens? Who knows what happens? I do know that last year, Jarrett Stidham in the preseason was he was balling out with Davis Webb calling plays. There's no doubt about it. In fact, it was against the Cardinals last year that I believe Davis Webb was calling plays for Jarrett Stidham, and Stidham just dominated that game. He was unbelievable. Point being, Ehlinger is one of my must-watch players during the preseason. I'm going to have my eye very closely on him because I could very well see Sam Ehlinger winning the QB2 spot. And if he does play better than Jarrett Stidham, he should. He absolutely should. All right, last but certainly not least, we got to talk about QB1, and that's Bo. Not a lot to go on here. Bo was in sweats today, didn't really suit up, wasn't practicing during OTAs. That was by design. Don't get panicked or anything. Sean Payton said that this was always the plan and that they expect him to be out there for mandatory minicamp in 2 weeks. So he's out there, he's with his teammates, going through all the walkthroughs, just not participating. We need Bo back so badly because this is really the year, in my opinion, that we see Bo Nix, for what he truly is. The first 2 years were good, very good. For rookie numbers, excellent. For sophomore year numbers, still really, really impressive, especially in the wins and losses column. Statistically speaking, it could have been better. But remember, 3 of those interceptions out of the 11 came in the first game. It's going to take a second for the team to warm up, especially in September. So this is the year, in my opinion, that we really see Bo Nix for what he truly is. And that, to me, is one of the top 10 best quarterbacks in the National Football League. I mean, look at their best EPAs per dropback. This is with a minimum of 400 snaps. The best EPAs per dropback in the last 2 seasons. Bo Nix is number 4. So that's really good. That's really good. Higher than Penix, higher than Stroud, Dart, and Caleb. The only players that it's not higher than are Jaden Daniels, who missed almost all of last year, Drake May, and Brock Purdy. Either way, I know Broncos football is back, and I'm getting goosebumps, man. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. I cannot wait. I've got more OTA updates coming your way. Trust me, we're going to make 2 more videos tomorrow. We're going to make some for the weekend. We're going live tomorrow. We'll talk about it. We've got everything coming your way, and that's why you subscribe. Make sure you hit that sub button, that thumbs up icon, a quick little mile high salute. Be cool.